Minute, call to action, reflective thought.
I think it's very important for parents to band together and provide a voice that represents our needs. I've heard an awful lot from administrators and teachers here tonight, but I don't think these are actually always congruent with the boots on the ground requirement of families. So anyone who's interested, in fact, in banding together in such a way, I am starting a group called SPARCS, SPARCS. You can find it online, sparks.k12newsnetwork.com. I would like to invite you to join together as a voice of parents.
Thank you. Loren.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone once again for allowing me to be on this panel. I think that until the community is willing to stand together to fight for really what is important in the classroom, to fight for dollars per student, to fight for priorities, to really come up with a priority list, that would help us teachers and your students and your children in the school. So I just want to say thank you, and your being here tonight, I think, is a great step.
Right. Thank you, Loren. MJ.
I'd like to send a thank you for the invitation to join you this evening, and to our panelists. And I do want to give a special shout out to you, Sarah, as a parent, because the parents are the first teacher. And I wish, as we talk about cloning or creating models, well, I like to give about 10,000 parents like you in some of our communities and spread you around to help make that difference. So I want to personally applaud you for your efforts. I guess if you said what would make a key difference, we have some policies that have been voted on. We can continue, i.e. LAUSD, to do business in the UTLA as we've done before, or we can really have meaningful partnership where we are examining what are those policies that have been passed by our governance body, which is our board. Because if we don't do that, while I have the hope that there will be change, I see that, what's the old saying, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to get the same results. So I want to encourage all of us in partnership to bring the kind of change that needs to occur, and let that change start with how we deliver the service. Everyone in the system, from our teachers, students, to the individuals who execute the policy, need to be held accountable. They need to have some buy-in to the policies that they're implementing. Without that buy-in, I'm sorry, if they're removed from that, then they don't feel the pain that's been created and that we've talked about this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve.
So I'm going to try without the mic. Oh, you need to use the mic. Sorry. I'll use this one. So tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. And we're in a church, so I feel I could talk about Scripture a little bit. We all know the famous lines of Scripture that Dr. King quoted in his speech from the prophet Isaiah. He said, we have a dream that every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain laid low, the crooked places will be made straight, and the rugged places will be made plain. And we all remember it's one of the most beautiful uses of Scripture ever in the history of American rhetoric. But the line in Isaiah before that line that King quotes is the line that says, "Let us clear a pathway in the wilderness, let us level a highway in the desert." And if we're truly to make the promise of education work for all students and not some students in Los Angeles, we're going to have to do that sleeve rolled up, hands clasped, difficult work of clearing paths and leveling highways. And, if you look at the outcomes, if you look at the demographics of Los Angeles Unified School District, and then you look at the demographics of who enters the UC system from Los Angeles Unified School District, it is not enough to say that it is institutional racism. The numbers force us to say it is something very much like apartheid. Like apartheid.
Apartheid.
And if we are going to do the work of clearing the path and leveling the highway, and if we are to do it together, it is going to take a civic moment of stopping the combat, stopping the privatization, stopping the wars that have divided us, and have us come together in ways that people have that have changed this country the way they did 50 years ago.
Thank you. Marcia.
I too want to thank everyone who's sitting in this room tonight, and particularly the Education Committee. I've enjoyed this immensely, and it's always exciting for me to see people passionate about something that I gave most of my life to and I'm still doing. I feel that a lot of what Steve said, and one other thing, the call to action for me goes, the big picture is for this country to go back to the respect and start putting more respect on the profession of teaching. When I was 21 and became a teacher, I knew I wanted to be a teacher when I was 6. And people said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a French teacher." A teacher? That's what we need to start doing, and we need to pull together our teachers, our parents, and people like this room and focus on the kids. And stop the war and stop the adult agendas and somehow pull it all together so that who benefits from all of this? Our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
I'll echo I guess what everybody's been saying. Michael Harrington, maybe some of you remember, wrote a book in 1960 called The Other America. And things haven't gotten any better. In fact, the gap between the haves and the have-nots has gotten worse, and it reflects itself in our public education system across the country. There are extraordinary public schools here and there, but they're fighting a terrible battle, and this is the West Side Democratic Club. So as good Democrats, it seems to me one of the things that we need to do is to get a lot more angry and vocal and push our leaders to correct this imbalance between the haves and the have-nots. Let's get back to, for example, a progressive taxation system.
Yeah.
I mean, a truly, and then we would have the funds to take care of our children.
Thank you very much. I want to tell all of the panelists how much I appreciate you coming out tonight, and the audience as well. Please stay with us just a few more minutes. Kara is going to share some news about the club. Remember to sign up if you're interested in the delegation. Get involved in your public school, support your public school, and talk to people about who are considering other options about getting involved as well.
Yeah, just wait. Hold on a second. Just hold on a second, you know? I want to thank the panel. I want to thank Marcy. Marcy, you get the first pen. These are our West LA Democratic pens, West LA Democratic Club. We want to give little presents to our panelists here. Remember us? Yeah, right. And also, if you join the club, you get one. But I do want to thank you all so much for coming out. This panel's been amazing. I hope it's been as educational for you as it has been for me, for everyone. I think so. I think the audience has. I want to tell you that on September the 19th, we are having our Health Matters evening event here at St. Bede's with David Lazarus. Some of you might read him in the LA Times every other day. It's all about, he'll be talking about the Affordable Health Care Act, et cetera, and it's going to be great. We'll be sending out some news about it, but I want you to keep it in your mind, mark your calendars. Nadia's waving. There's some books in the back of Paul Cummins that Paul has written. I don't know if, did you bring your Lola? No, Marcy didn't. Online, you can buy Marcy Winograd's book. And we have we have our communications chair who has put a website up that's really exciting, and she wants to just tell you one thing about it. And I also want to give a shout out to Betsy Butler, who walked in, who is our former assemblywoman and who is running again for assembly from the new 62nd Assembly District. Okay, Michelle Morton, our communications chair.
Hi, a lot of you have been talking about funding sources, and pretty shortly everyone in here is going to have an opportunity to do a call to action regarding that. I've been studying the incredibly esoteric, abstract, ghastly topic of tax loopholes. On the federal level, over $520 billion a year goes from the bottom 90% of taxpayers directly to the top 10% of taxpayers. That $520 billion could pay for 65% of Social Security every year. It could expand Medicare to 49 million Americans. We could have our single payer. Okay, and the website that I've put together is basically, shows a big picture of some of what that whole huge chunk of money could go to, as well as the small the details. You know, the $49 billion that we pay for companies to keep their profits offshore, that could pay for half of the train tracks across the country to be repaired. We could have our bridges that don't fall down. We could double our student aid. We could have a program where we give, with the amount that we give companies that pay their CEOs more than $1 million, we could grant to 2 million Americans $5,000 each to start their own business. There are things that we could be doing with this money. Shortly, probably within the next week or so, the website will be up. What we're doing is setting up an official whitehouse.gov petition. If we get 100,000 people to sign that petition, we will get an official response from the White House. The petition is going to be, President Obama, you need to step up your game and inform Americans about these tax expenditures. You need to talk to us about the big picture, which he doesn't. He does talk about tax loopholes a little bit, but only a little bit. And I believe that that could really change the discussion in Washington once Americans understand how much of their money is directly being sent to the top 10%. It's not completely live just yet. It's Needy Billionaires. Within about a week, we'll be announcing it. Needy Billionaires. But we need you to sign the petition, share it with your friends on Facebook, etc., so that we can we have over 100,000 Democrats here in LA. So let's get the 100,000 people to sign the petition. Let's change the country.
Thank you. And thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Okay. Thank you all so much. See you next time. Thank you, Tracy.
61, and how many was it? What it
subsidized science center? No. No, I didn't do that.